Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the first game of the 1978 World Series. Just finished the season ticket 1978 NBC Game of the Week and figured the best way to wrap up that project is to come out and play the 1978 World Series. So that's what we're going to do. Game one is tonight in Los Angeles. Trying to get my stuff lined up here. It's a little bit different than when I do strats. So I'm trying to get everything where everybody can see it, hopefully. Hello, Midlife. Good to see you. All right. So before we get going, I want to show who's on the playoff roster so you know who. Hello, Ben. So you know who is available. And if you don't see them, that means they weren't on the World Series roster. So let's look at the bench players for the Yankees in this game. Paul Blair, Mike Heath, Jay Johnstone, Jim Spencer, Gary Thomason, Brian Doyle, and Cliff Johnson. So those are the guys that are on the bench for the Yankees. In their bullpen, they have Ken Clay, Paul Lindblad, Tidrow, Sparky Lyle, Jim Beattie, and Rich Gossage. They also have Catfish Hunter and Ron Guidry. They are future starters of future games. So that's who's on the Yankee roster as far as the non-starters. Let's look at the Dodgers and get those shown to you so you can see who's available and who's not. On the bench for the Dodgers, Ted Martinez, Johnny Oates, Bill North, Manny Mota, Jerry Grody, Joe Ferguson, and Vic Davalillo. Those are all bench players for the Dodgers. The pitchers, Terry Forster, Lance Ronson, Charlie Huff, Bob Welch, Doug Rao, and Rick Roden. And then Bert Hooton and Don Sutton are going to be starting future games. Now we'll look at the starting lineups and starting pitchers. Starting pitchers for today's game for the Yankees, it'll be right-hander Ed Figueroa against left-hander Tommy John. They are your starters for this game. And you can see the lineup for the Yankees. Rivers in center, White in left, Munson catching, Reggie Jackson at DH, Piniella in right, Nettles at third, Chambliss at first, Stanley at second, and Dent at short. For the Dodgers, Lopes at second, Russell at short, Reggie Smith in right, Steve Garvey at first, Ron Cey at third, Dusty Baker in left, Rick Monday, the designated hitter. Actually, I've made a misprint here. Rick Monday should be in center field. Lee Lacy's the designated hitter. So I'm not sure why I did that. When I was typing things in, I didn't do it correctly, did I? So, let me make sure. I don't think Lee Lacy was center fielder. You would make more sense to be Rick Monday. Yeah. So Rick Monday in center field. Don't know why I had them both listed as DH. That was kind of weird. Anyway, it doesn't surprise me, Larry. The Yankees kind of shot their load against the Red Sox in the first game in the wild card round. So no surprise there. Let's see if the 78 Yankees can do a little bit better here in season ticket baseball. Kind of unusual territory for me right now. I haven't played it's been the first time in a long time I played a season ticket baseball game when it wasn't on a Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon, as the case may be. So Tommy John finishing up the warm-up tosses, and he'll be facing Mickey Rivers, Roy White, and Thurman Munson. We could go over the stadium results for Dodger Stadium, but it's a night game in October, which is 55 degrees. So the only way that the weather comes into effect would be if we get a -1, and these all three would have to be 0. So if there's any number on there at all, see, that's 17. So 17 plus the 55 is only 71, so that doesn't change anything on stadium effects for Dodger Stadium. All right, so we are ready to get going. Tomorrow night will be game number 2. Thursday night will be game number 3. Take a day off on Friday since I'm not going to be here on Friday night. We will take a Friday off. Unless I have to I got to check the actual schedule and see if they played any day games. If they played a day game, then I may do it as a day game. So I should have checked that out and I didn't do it. So that was my bad for that. Got Stratomatic on the brain, so sometimes you forget to do certain things. Let me check the schedule for 1978 and see how many of these games were day games versus night. And they may have all been night games by this point. Who knows? Wednesday night. Oh, there was a day game. Game 4 is a day game. How about that? Interesting. Well, that would be perfect because that's a Saturday. Yep. So we're just going to bump the game 3 on Friday up to Thursday, and then have the theoretical travel day be on, or we call it a rain out. How about that? We call it a rain out. And then Saturday and Sunday were both day games, but I'm going to play the Sunday game at night. And then we'll be back on Monday's an off day, and then back to Tuesday and Wednesday night if it goes that far. All right, so we'll figure it out as we go. All right. 79, yep. Pittsburgh and Baltimore. I believe you are right on that, Midlife. Okay. And I believe the other Baltimore-Pittsburgh series in 71 was the actual first night game in World Series history. I'm pretty sure 71 was the first night game in World Series history. And then the 79 series between the Orioles and Pirates again was the first one where all games were night games. So, all right, so Mickey Rivers against Tommy John. We're underway. And right away, we get a fielding check, and it's a blue 8, which is not good news for Ron Cey, the third baseman. 558, but Ron Cey, you don't seem like you're doing too well on 558, and that's because it's a single to left field for Mickey Rivers. So Mickey Rivers sneaks one right past Ron Cey, and Rivers likes to run, so we'll see if he can get the proverbial lead, and I do have my little charts here to establish a lead or to get the lead. Just as a refresher, we take the steal rating of the runner, add it to the 2 D10s, and it has to be greater than or equal to 10 plus the whole rating of the pitcher. Whole rating of the pitcher, Tommy John's 4, so this has to be 14 or higher. Mickey Rivers' steal rating is only a 2. So to get the lead, these 2 dice have to total 12 or higher. And they do not, so he cannot get the good lead. So Mickey Rivers will stay at first base, unable to get a good lead. Hello, Dr. D. Yeah, I'm just doing it to play this World Series, and I'm going to take a big break from season ticket for a while. Might do some more Hitchmaker or something to go along with my Stratomatic. I'm not sure yet. That's down the road, so who knows? Depends on what whim hits me. Here's Roy White. That's a 328 and non-split, and that's an infield single. How about that? So first and second, nobody out. And here comes the captain, Thurman Munson. That's a 368, again, non-split, and it's a 5-4-3 double play. Boy, talk about a downer if you're a Yankee fan. 5-4-3 double play. Rivers does get third, but now there are 2 outs. And the designated hitter, Reggie Jackson, steps to the plate. 221. 221. Jackson's a lefty, so 2-2-1 falls right here into the 1-6-3 double play, but with 2 outs already, it's just a 1-3 ground out. And despite getting the first 2 runners on base, the Yankees come away empty-handed. We go to the bottom of the first. It is Yankees nothing, and the Dodgers coming to bat against Ed Figueroa, a 20-game winner in 1978. Tommy John was 17-10 in 1978. Davey Lopes will lead things off for the Dodgers. We get a 559, and boy, the blue die is just killing them. Greg Nettles has no chance on this. 559. 559 is going to be a single. Won't be an error. It'll be a single for Davey Lopes. But Lopes is also one who likes to run. So we'll see if he can get a lead. He stole 45 bases, only caught 4 times. His steal is a 3. Figueroa is a 4. So not quite as much to overcome. These two dice have to total 11 or more to get to that 14 total that he needs. And they do, 15. So he's going to get the good lead with Lopes. So Lopes is going to go. And now we're looking at Thurman Munson. Get Thurman Munson's arm. He's a 6. So we come over here. 16. We're going to add 10 to the arm. So that's 16. So when you steal with the lead, you get to use the extra die. So these 3 dice plus the speed of Lopes, which is a 9, only have to get to 16 or more. So these 3 dice only have to total 7 to be a successful stolen base. But they don't. It's a 5. He gets caught stealing by Thurman Munson. What a throw. The 5 plus the 9 is a 14, but Munson's arm is a 6, makes it a 16. So he is caught stealing, is Davey Lopes. As Fred Stanley puts on the tag, Willie Randolph injured, not in this World Series. So Fred Stanley and Brian Doyle will be handling second base duties in the series. So here's Bill Russell. This is a rare play though. It's not a fielding play. It's a rare play. 508 is a rare play. 500 to 509s are rare plays. So we turn to our rare play bases empty section. Since no one was on base, that's page 30. And we'll roll all the dice and see what happens on the rare play. We get a 146, and that says no play. It says batter ducks to avoid an apparent beanball. Home plate umpire warns both teams. For remainder of the game, any hit by pitch by either team results in pitcher ejection. All right, so they've been warned. So now that means any hit by pitch going forward is an automatic ejection. And I will abide by that. All right, so that was inside ball 1. Figueroa to Russell, 243 against a right-hander. 243 is a redirect to a 573, and that's a fielding chance for the left fielder. That is Roy White. So 573 for Roy White is a fly ball left field, easy play. 2 down. And that'll bring up Reggie Smith, switch hitting right fielder. That's a 471. And over here against the righty Figueroa, 471 is a fly ball to center field. And that will end the inning. So nothing doing for the Dodgers in the first. Go to the second, no score from Dodger Stadium. Chavez Ravine, whatever you want to call it. And Lou Piniella will lead off the top of the second against Tommy John. That's a 268. John Piniella's a righty, so 268 is going to be a 6-3 ground out. So Piniella is out grounding to Bill Russell. 1 down for Nettles. That's a 363 non-split, and it will be a 4-3 ground out. So easy 2 outs there for Tommy John. He's got the ground ball working. 4 consecutive ground ball outs. And here's Chambliss. 439. Chambliss against the lefty John. 439 is going to be a 4-3 ground out. So yet another ground ball out. Tommy John's sinker is working. Yankees go in order. We go to the bottom of the second, still no score. And it will be Garvey, Say, and Baker due up for the Dodgers. We get a 643. Home team's batting, though, so you add 10. Makes it a 653. 653, though, is going to be a 5-3 ground out. Easy play for Nettles. 1 away. For the Penguin, Ron Say. Hello, Ernest. That's a 221, and that's a Figueroa against the right-hander Say. 221. It's going to be a 5-3 ground out. So 2 ground balls to Nettles in a row, and that'll send up Dusty Baker. I believe his nickname was the Lizard, but I'm not sure why they call him the Lizard. 243, right-handed. 243 is a redirect to a 573, and that'll be an easy play for the left fielder, Roy White. 573, Roy White will make the catch, and that will end the inning. So at the end of 2, we got no score. Tommy John and Ed Figueroa dueling it out. Due up will be the Chicken Man, Fred Stanley, followed by Bucky Bleepin' Dent and Mickey Rivers. 236 for John against a right-hander. 236. 5-3 ground out. The ground balls are working again. Uncanny. Here's Bucky Dent. That's a 465. Dent against the lefty. 465 is a 5-3 ground out. So they're just beating the ball into the dirt right in front of home plate, and TJ is getting some easy outs here. Here's Mickey Rivers. 303, and that is going to be a strikeout for Mickey Rivers. First strikeout for Tommy John. And we go to the bottom of the third. Still no score from Dodger Stadium. Tommy Lasorda and Bob Lemon, the managers of these two teams, as Bob Lemon took over for Billy Martin midseason. Here's Rick Monday, center fielder. 431, and he's facing a righty. 4-3-1 is going to be a strikeout, lefty or righty. So that's the first strikeout for Figueroa. One away for Lee Lacy, the designated hitter. That's a 426. Facing a right-hander, that's a 4-3 ground out. 2 down for Steve Yeager, the Jägermeister. That's a 140 non-split, and it will be a fly to center field to end the inning. So 3 quick innings in the books, and nothing's been decided. We got no score. A lot different than the last couple of NBC games of the week, which were blowouts. So it's nice to get a close game, at least for now. All right, so Roy White will lead off for the Yankees. That is a 5-0-2. We got another rare play. How about that? Yet another rare play with the bases empty. So we're right back on the same page. And this will be a 192. 192, no play injury. Probably not going to do injuries because I don't want to mess with injuries in this. So we're not going to do injuries. So we'll skip that and just keep going. Reboot. 184, and that's going to be a bloop single for Roy White leading off the 4th. Gets a bloop single, and that'll bring up Thurman Munson. 148, and that's going to be a walk. First walk issued by Tommy John. And now he's in a little bit of trouble again. First and second, nobody out, same as he was in the first inning. Double play helped him get out of that. Here's Reggie. 595. That's a fly ball to right field for Reggie Smith, but the blue 5 should be okay. He should be able to make this play. We'll see if anybody advances. 595. It's a fly to right. Runner on third would have to try to score, but there's nobody on third, so it's just a fly to right, and there's no provision for the runner on second to go to third, according to this, so it's just a fly out for 1 away. That'll bring up Sweet Lou. That's a 151 for Lou, non-split, and that's a walk, rather. 151 is going to be a walk. It's going to load the bases. Second walk issued by Tommy John. Bases are loaded with 1 out for Greg Nettles. Infield looking for that double play. 495. Against a lefty, Greg Nettles will strike out. Against a righty, he would have hit a deep drive, possible grand slam. Against a lefty, he strikes out. So Nettles out on strikes for out number 2. And that'll bring up Chambliss in the clutch situation. 649. They're the visiting team, so there's no boost. 6-4-9 is going to be a 4-3 ground out, and that's going to end the inning. So Tommy John pitches out of the mess. We go to the bottom of the fourth, still no score. If no one has purchased the printed set from Season Ticket, they are, I tell you what, they are really, really sharp. They're really excellent. They're very slippery, though. That's the only thing, is that sometimes these things slide around really easily because they've got some kind of slick coating on them, but they look, the glossy finish, I guess, is what it is, but they look really sharp. I know the PDF might be more, what's the word for it? More financially better, but there's something to be said for the printed sets too. I've got both. I've got PDF and printed, so that I've used them both. So printed much better. Of course, the PDF version, you do save a little bit of money, but then again, by the time you count the paper and the ink and the time to print them out, cut them out, sort them and all that stuff, you're almost better just buying the printed set. But you know, people can get the PDF and just leave it on the computer screen and play that way too. So there's different ways to do it. Here's Davey Lopes, 350, non-split. That's a fly to right field. One away, and that'll bring up Bill Russell. That's a 425 against a right-hander. 425 is a 6-3 ground out. 2 down for Reggie Smith. 536. That's going to be to the first baseman Chambliss. Let's see if that blue 6 is going to get him or not. 536 for Chambliss. No, he'll get it 3 unassisted. 537 would have been a hit, 7, 8, or 9, but a 6, he will get to it and take it unassisted to the bag. And the Dodgers got a leadoff single from Lopes, but once he got caught stealing, they have not had a base runner since. Figueroa has retired everybody since then, so he's faced the minimum because of that. So we go to the top of the fifth, still zeros on the board all the way around. Here is Fred Chicken Stanley, 677. 677 is a bloop single for Chicken Stanley. So a bloop single for Fred Stanley. Now, what about bunting for Dent? He's an excellent bunter with a 6. So I don't usually like to bunt, but in the game like this with the runs at a premium, I think if you play for 1 run and you get it, it might be enough to win the game. So we're going to do the bunt situation here for Dent. He's a 6. Now, the fielding doesn't matter at this point at the moment. Corners in or whatever. We're just going to play. It just plays out. So his bunt rating's a 6. We're going to add all 3 to these dice and add it to 6 and then see what happens down here. That is a 15, so it's a total of 21. 21 says good bunt. Batter out, runners advance, sacrifice hit 1-3. So sacrifice hit 1-3, and Stanley goes to second base on the beautiful sacrifice by Bucky Dent. 1 down. And back to the top of the order for Rivers. 131, and that's going to be a redirect to a 331. I'm sorry, 331. 331 is going to be an infield single for Mickey Rivers. How about that? It's going to put runners at the corners. Runners are at the corners with only 1 out for Roy White. Would they dare try to have Mickey Rivers try to get a lead is the question. They're going to try it because if they can get him in scoring position, and it also would take out the hello, Ronnie. It would take out the double play ground ball if he can get a successful steal. So we're going to go back to the steal attempt again for Rivers. His steal rating is a 2, and the hold rating for Tommy John's a 4. So got to be equal or better 14. So these 3 dice plus the 2 from Mickey Rivers has to total 14 or higher. So we need a total of 12. I'm sorry, looking at the thing over here. It should be over here. 2 dice. So 2 dice have to total 12 for him to get the lead. And they do not, so he will hold. So Mickey Rivers holds. Runners at the corners, 1 out for Roy White. And infield still back looking for the double play because Tommy John is very good at inducing ground balls. That's a 696, though. That could be trouble. 696 for Roy White. That's a walk. It's not a deep drive. It's just a walk. And it will load the bases. Bases are full of Yankees for Thurman Munson. 1 out. Again, looking for that double play to get out of the inning. That's a 134. It's a redirect to a 334, and that's going to be an infield single. So the redirect hurt him that time. Hey, K-Mac, good to see you. 134 is a redirect to a 334, and you get an infield single. And that's going to score the run. Fred Stanley will come in to score. Yankees take a 1-0 lead. Everybody else moves up 90 feet for Reggie Jackson. Still looking for that double play of the Dodgers to get out of this inning. That's a 214. Left-handed is Reggie, so 214. And they get the 163 double play. How do you like that? 163 double play gets them out of the inning. It came one batter too late, as it turns out, because the Yankees do score the run. But Tommy John, to his credit, limits the damage to just the 1 run. Keeps his team in the game. Go to the bottom of the 5th. It's 1-0 Yankees. And it will be Garvey, Say, and Baker due up. That's a 185, and that's going to be a bloop single for Steve Garvey. Comes the Penguin, Ron Say. Garvey not going to worry about running anywhere. 273, and Figueroa righty, Say a righty, 273. It's a deep drive to left field. That's trouble. Ron Say's power rating is a 7. 7, we're going to add the 2 dice to the 7 and see what we get. If we get a 10 or higher, it's gone. That's a 9, so that's going to be a 16. So it's a deep fly to left field. Boy, he just missed it by 1 number. That's a 9. His power rating is a 7 for a total of 16, and he just missed it. 17 would have been the homer, but this is a fly to left, and that's 1 away. So Ron Say just got under it. And here's Dusty Baker. 144, and that's going to be a fly to center field on the non-split section. 2 down for Rick Monday, center fielder. That's a 257. Lefty is Monday, so 257. And that's a deep drive to center field for Monday. Now he's got a chance. Monday, his power rating is an 8. And it's a deep drive to center. So again, if these 2 dice total 10 or higher, he's going to hit a home run. And they don't. It's a 9. So once again, it comes into a 17. It's a fly to center. If the deep drive had been to left or right, it would have been a home run. But the deep drive was to, make sure I got it to the right place. It was to center field. So it was not right field or left field, it was center field. And the 9 there plus the 8 power rating is a 17. It's a fly ball to center. It's plus, but it doesn't matter. It's 3rd out of the inning. So that's 2 chances. The Dodgers have come close to going deep, but couldn't quite get there. So we go to the top of the 6th. Still 1-0. John and Figueroa both have fatigue of 6, so they can pitch into the 7th inning before they face fatigue. So here's Piniella against TJ. 119. That's a redirect to a 319, and that's another infield singles. He's had a lot of redirects that have turned into infield singles. Interesting. That's 3 in a row that's gone from. A lot of times redirects will turn into strikeouts, but here they've turned into singles. So Lou Piniella gets a leadoff single on the redirect. Here comes Nettles, 137, and that's a redirect to a 337, and that's an infield single. 4 redirects and 4 infield singles. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Very, very odd. Usually redirects will turn into strikeouts, but the Yankees just don't strike out that much. So here's Chambliss. That's a 5-18. That's right to Tommy John, but it's a blue 8, so that's a single to center field. And we'll see, does Piniella want to challenge the center fielder, Rick Monday? Let's look at Rick Monday's arm. Rick Monday's arm is only a 2. So it's a good chance that he can challenge this since it did go to center field. Piniella, his speed is a 3. So he's a little bit ahead, 3 versus the 2. So we go to the challenge section. So these 3 dice plus the 3 speed have to be greater than or equal to 12, the 2 arm plus the 10. So these 3 basically have to total 9 or higher. And they don't, so he's thrown out at the plate. Wow. Bad die roll there. Single for Chambliss, but Piniella is going to be out 8-2 for out number 1. Unfortunate dice roll for the Yankees on that one. Piniella is out. Could question the third base coach why you send him with nobody out, but you got Stanley and Dent coming up, not the best hitters in the world. And if you don't score, you can say, well, how come you didn't send him? I mean, so it's kind of darn if you do, darn if you don't kind of thing. John, 290. Stanley's a righty. 290 is a deep drive to left field, but Stanley's power rating is only a 1. So it's only a 1, but he could get a hit out of this, depending on what happens. 1 and a 7, total of 8. He does get a single plus. Single plus. And that scores Nettles from second base. Make it 2-0 Yankees. Chambliss will stop at second on the base hit by Stanley. He's 2 for 3. 2-0 Yankees. Runners at first and second. 1 out for Bucky Dent. 275. 275 is a redirect to a 555. And that's going to be the Penguin, Ron Cey. 555 for Ron Cey. 555 is a 5-3 ground out, so the runners will advance. Only play for Cey was to throw to first. So 5-3 ground out with the runners going to second and third, now with 2 outs for Mickey Rivers. 2-0 Yankees, top of the 6th. 139, and that's a redirect to a 339. And what do you know? We got another infield single. It's like the 5th time that's happened. Uncanny. Rivers singles, that'll score Chambliss. Make it 3-0 Yankees. And Tommy Lasorda might be protesting all of this because he said, where are all these infield singles coming from? So here comes Roy White. Roy White. 170. 170 is a bloop single. And that's going to score Stanley from third. And with 2 outs, the bloop single, Rivers will automatically take third base. And now the Yankees are ahead 4-0. Here comes Thurman Munson, and the bullpen for the Dodgers is now up and throwing. And we do have right-hander Bob Welch loosing in the bullpen for the Dodgers. Munson trying to get some more runs. Tommy John trying to get out of the inning. 104, and it's a redirect to a 304, but this time it's a strikeout. Finally get the redirect to the strikeout. It's only the 2nd strikeout of the game for Tommy John, but a 3 spot for the Yankees. They take a 4-0 lead going into the bottom of the 6th, and they've turned that over to Ed Figueroa to protect. And he'll be dealing with Lacy, Yeager, and Lopes. That's a 539. That's tough for Chambliss with that blue 9. Probably going to be an error, I would imagine. No, it's actually going to be a single. He doesn't make an error here. It's a single. So it's a leadoff single for Lee Lacy. That blue die coming up as a 9. That's curtains for them. All right, here is Yeager. 546. That's going to be Davey. That's going to be not Davey Lopes. That's going to be Fred Stanley. Blue 6 might be questionable. 546. Oh, actually, we need to go to his secondary defense because he's mainly listed as a shortstop, but he is playing second base. His second base arm rating is a 2. So we come over here, infield. If the blue die is less than or equal to the arm rating, then we have a double play. That's not the case. If the blue die is less than or equal to his range, we got a ground out. That's not the case. If the blue die is less than or equal to his fielding, then we get a base hit. The fielding is an 8, that's a 6, so we do get a base hit. And it's going to be a single to right field. So a single to right field, as Fred Stanley unable to get to that. So it will be a single to right field by Yeager. Puts runners at first and second. And down 4-0. They're not going to try for the extra base. They don't want to lose a base runner. So here is Davey Lopes now against Figueroa. 4-4-4 against the right-hander Figueroa. 4-4-4 is a 5-4 ground out, fielder's choice. So Yeager is out 5-4. Lacy will take third. Runners on the corners, 1 out. And that will bring up Bill Russell. That's a 197, and that's a fly to left field, shallow fly to left. There's no chance to challenge that, so that's going to be 2 away for Reggie Smith. 598, that's trouble for the right fielder Piniella. He has no chance with this. With that blue 8, he is in deep mess. So 598, I'm sorry, 5, yeah, okay, he's also on his rating space defense because he mainly plays, he's rated for left field, not right field. So we're going to the outfielder rating base defense. His defensive arm is a 5. So if the blue die is less than or equal to the arm, which it is not, we had a fly out. Let's see here. What is his range? His range is a 5. The blue die is above the 5 range. And it's above the 7. So it's going to be a single. It says C below. And we're looking at the outfield arm. His outfield arm is a 5. So that's going to be a single plus. Single plus for Reggie Smith. So a single plus will score Lacy from third. But Lopes will only get to second. You need a plus plus for him to go to third. So it's a single. And the Dodgers are finally on the board. Reggie Smith's single puts them on the board, cuts the lead to 4-1. And that brings up Steve Garvey. So maybe a little shorter, getting a little bit more of a, not a smile on his face, but at least feel like his team has some life in them. And Mr. All-American Steve Garvey has a chance to really help the cause with the base hit. Just 1 out, and runners are on the corners. Actually, 2 outs, rather. 2 outs and runners on the corners for Steve Garvey. That's a 252. Garvey, a righty. 252 is a redirect to a 582. And that's a fly ball to center field. I think Mickey Rivers can handle it with the 2 there. So 582 is a fly to center. That's a 3rd out, so there's no tagging up or anything like that. It's just a fly out. Dodgers get 1. They could have had a whole lot more, and they needed it. They're down 4-1 now as we go to the 7th inning here at Dodger Stadium. Hello, ID, and hello, RJL. Good to see all of you. All right, so TJ is, let's see here. They're going to actually pull TJ. He had such a rough inning. They're going to cap TJ at the 6th inning mark. So he'll go 6 innings, give up 4 runs. They were all earned. Struck out just 2. How many did he walk? He walked 1, 2. Just got him for 2 walks, but he gave a ton of hits. 1, 2. Actually, he walked 3. Just saw that. Ton of hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hits in those 6 innings. And he is on the hook to take the loss potentially. And coming in to pitch for the Yankees will be Bob Ebony Eyes Welch. And he'll have his first confrontation with Reggie Jackson. There are a lot of things I like about this IDJ. There's some things I don't care for, but I don't want to get into a whole thing on that. But yeah, overall, I do enjoy the game. All right. Here is, and this is a printed set, and the printed sets look fabulous. Although the PDF I did using the paper they suggested off Amazon did well also. So Bob Welch to Reggie Jackson, that's a 657. Here at Dodger Stadium, 657 is a 6-3 ground out, and Welch wins that battle with Reggie. One away for Lou Piniella. That's a 600. 600, and that's a 6-3 ground out. Easy play there. 2 ground balls to Russell, two down real quick, and here's Nettles. That's a 235. Nettles is a lefty, so 235 turns out to be a ground ball first base unassisted to Steve Garvey. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Bob Welch, and his stamina is good. He can go 3 innings. He can finish the game if he had to. But we'll see how that plays out with the DH. You don't have to worry about the pitcher batting, so you can use them as much as you want. Very easy to manage in the American League with the DH. Makes things very simple. Even a caveman could do it. All right, here's Ron Cey. 454, and Cey against the right-hander, 454. It's going to be a double for Ron Cey, leadoff double. Penguin waddles to second base for a double. Brings up Dusty Baker. 289. 289, and that's going to be a deep drive to left field for Dusty Baker. His power rating is a 4, so we're going to add the 2 dice to the 4, and if he gets a 13 or higher, he'll hit a home run. He does not. He gets a 0. How about that? So he settles with a single. Boy, they've had some bad breaks on these deep drives. So that'll be a single, automatic 1-base advancement on ballpark single or deep drive singles. So runners at the corners, nobody out for Rick Monday. .565, that's a ground ball to Bucky Bleepin' Dent. The blue 5 should not be a problem, you wouldn't think. .565 is a 6-3 ground out, so the runners will advance, which means Ron Cey will score. And Baker will go to second base, as Dent's only play was to first on the 6-3 ground out. RBI ground out for Monday. Cuts the lead to 4-2. And here's Lee Lacy. .576. We're looking at the left fielder, Roy White, but that blue 6 is a little ominous. We'll see what Roy White has to do with a .576. And that's going to be a double plus. So that's going to score Baker. And there's a B question mark. So Lacy could challenge the left fielder's arm to get to third base, but you're already in scoring position. You're down by, you are the tying run. It would be silly to make an out at third base when you're already in scoring position. So double by Lacy cuts the lead to 4-3. And now the Yankee bullpen's starting to stir. They have right-handed action in their bullpen. Dick Tidrow, a right-hander, is loosing in the Yankee bullpen. Dick Tidrow. As it looks like Figueroa is starting to fatigue. In fact, this is his fatigue inning, and I think they're going to pull him right now because since this is his fatigue inning, you would add 30 points to the ballpark plus the 10 for the home team, be a plus 40, and that's not a winning combination. So that's going to be it for Ed Figueroa. He will come out of the ball game. He's going to go 6 1/3. And Dick Tidrow will be coming on for the Yankees to face Yeager. So we'll get the numbers on Figueroa at the end of the inning. once everything is said and done. Right now, Lacey's at second with 1 out and Dick Tidrow on to face Steve Yeager. One thing I like ID about this game that is really unique, but it and most people probably could care less, but it resonates with me, is the uniform numbers. I love having the uniform numbers on the cards. Really like that. And they have the team names: Yankees, Dodgers. Only game I know of that has the team names. I don't know what kind of rights he bought or whatever, but he's got the team names on there. So that's two things I like about it. All right. So Tidrow now, and Tidrow comes in and we get a rare play. As soon as Tidrow comes in, we get a rare play. For those that came in late, we had a rare play early where it was a brushback pitch. So any future hit by pitch is automatic ejection. So if we get that, it will be an automatic ejection, just to let you know in case you came in late. All right. Let's see. Tidrow, rare play. We do have runners on base. We got a runner on second. So let me see what page we go to. Check this out. Runner on second. And there are less than 2 outs. Runner on second, less than 2 outs. To me, we go to page 36. So we're going to page 36 in the rare playbook. Page 36. And roll for a rare play. We get a 6-15, and that's going to be right here. Line drive caught by first baseman, but his throw to second to double up the runner on second sails into left field. Runner on second may try to advance to third base by challenge. We're not going to challenge the arm because he's already in scoring position. So it is a line drive to first. Chambliss snags it for out number 2. He tries to double off Lacey at second. The throw goes into left field, but Roy White there to back it up. And Lacey not going to take the chance, not with Davey Lopes coming up. So Lopes is up there in a clutch situation. Tying run is on second base and 2 outs. Tidrow, 121. That is going to be a 3-1 ground out as Chambliss gets it and flips to Tidrow covering to end the inning. But the Dodgers score twice. And after 7 complete, it's the Yankees 4 and the Dodgers 3 here in Game 1 of the 1978 World Series to wrap up the NBC Game of the Week project, which was the 1978 NBC Game of the Week. All right, so Bob Welch pitched a perfect 7th inning, so he'll be out to face Chambliss, Stanley, and Dent, although we could pinch hit. We're in the 8th inning now, so pinch hitting is allowed. And so let's see if the Yankees have anybody on the on-deck circle warming up to take the place of Stanley, although Chicken Stanley, to his credit, is 2 for 3. So if we pinch hit for Stanley, somebody might have a fit out there. But we'll wait and see what the situation is. Stanley could always bunt if Chambliss got on. So we'll see what happens with that. All right, here is Chambliss to lead things off against Welch. 250, and that's going to be a strikeout. Righty or lefty, it was a strikeout either way you go. And now, what do you do with Chicken Stanley? He's a 219 hitter, but he is 2 for 3. But I would have to think that Bob Lemon would make the move. So Stanley will be pulled. Brian Doyle will come in and play second base defensively. He was not carded. He's a PDF, so he was not one of the printed players because he didn't have enough at bats to qualify. So we're going to a pinch hitter. Got 3 lefties that we can go to. Either Kerry Thomason, who's a 276 hitter, Jim Spencer, a 227 hitter, or Jay Johnstone, a 262 hitter. So which way do we go with this? Let's see. With nobody on, I think you want a guy that might have a better chance of hitting a home run. And let's see. We're going to go with Jim Spencer. Save the better hitters for when people are on base. So this is going to be Jim Spencer to pinch hit. And then taking over at second base will be Brian Doyle in the 8th inning. So Jim Spencer will pick up a bat and hit for Fred Stanley. The Fred Stanley peanut gallery is probably upset with that because Stanley is 2 for 3, but you got to play the percentages here. So Spencer against Welch. That's a 165, and that's going to be a fly to left. So since it was a 165, it didn't matter who was batting. That was going to be an out either way you go. And here's Bucky Dent now with 2 outs and the bases clear. 255, right-hander. 255 is a pop up to second base. It's going to end the inning. So Welch has retired all 6 batters he has faced. And there's no reason to not leave him in for the 9th inning as well. So Tidrow back out, trying to protect this 4-3 lead. Goose Gossage is looming in the background. And if Tidrow gets in trouble, you will see the Goose. Oh, wrong way. Let's put it this way so we can see the Dodgers. Bill Russell. 621, home team's batting, 631. 631's a pop to short, though. So it is 1 away. 1 down for Reggie Smith. 265, and Smith's a switch hitter batting left. So 265 is a redirect to a 535. That's the first baseman, Chambliss, and a blue 5 should be no problem for Chambliss, you would think. 535 is a 3 unassisted ground out. So no problem there. 2 down for Steve Garvey. That's a 589. That's going to be trouble for Mickey Rivers. That blue 9 is going to give him trouble. 589 is going to be a single. Single for Garvey. And that'll bring up Ron Cey, and that's going to be it for Tidrow. Bob Lynn not messing around. We will see the Goose. Goose Gossage will be coming on. Didn't do the numbers for Figueroa, forgot to do that. So let me clean up Figueroa's numbers before we go any further. He gives up 3 runs. They were earned. He gives up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hits. I don't believe he walked anybody. He did not. And he only struck out just the 1. That was it. Tidrow is going to go an inning and 2/3. Actually, yeah, inning and 2/3. Okay, got it right. Inning and 2/3. I believe. 1, 2, yeah. Inning and 2/3. No, inning and 1/3. I'm sorry. Inning and 1/3. He got 4 outs. Inning and 1/3. Gave up a hit. No runs, but he is responsible for Garvey. No walks, no strikeouts. So Goose Gossage coming on to pitch for the Yankees. Big number 54 with his 27 saves. And he'll be in to face Ron Cey with Garvey at first and 2 down here in the bottom of the 8th of a 4-3 game. 118 for Gossage is a redirect to a 318, and that will be a strikeout for Ron Cey, and that's going to end the inning. So Tidrow gets by giving up nothing. So we go to the 9th, still 4-3 ball game. And Bob Welch will come out and pitch the 9th. There's no reason not to have him in there. He hasn't given up anything, really. Retired all 6 he has faced. So here's Mickey Rivers to start the 9th. Terry Forster, a lefty for the Dodgers, is loosening in the bullpen in case Welch should get in trouble. They do have their closer, Terry Forster, loosening, just in case. But it'll be Mickey Rivers to start it off. That's a 334 for Welch. And Rivers non-split. 334 is an infield single for Mickey Rivers. He is 4 for 5 for Mickey Rivers. How about that? But Welch has a great hold rating of 8. So it's going to be awful hard for Mickey to get a jump here. He can try it, but it's probably not going to happen. His steal attempt is a 2. So with the 2 plus these dice here have to total 18 or higher. He needs a 16 on these 2 dice. And he doesn't get it anywhere near close. So Mickey Rivers is not going to go anywhere. He will stay in pat. Roy White, the batter. Do we think about bunting with Roy White? He's a 4. But that would be an important insurance run to get in scoring position. So we're going to have Roy White bunt. And of course, to operate the bunt, you take his bunt rating 4, add it to these 3 dice. And we get a total of 12, plus the 4 is a 16. Fielder's choice, pitcher. Fielder's choice C below. All right, fielder's choice C below. Defense may take the automatic out at first or challenge any runner's speed. All right, well, Mickey Rivers has good speed. His speed is a 7. 7. So they better, I think the Dodgers are going to just take the shore out here. They don't want a big inning. So they will allow the sacrifice hit. And where it went to the pitcher. It went right back to Welch. It's a 1-4 on the sacrifice bunt. And that will bring up Thurman Munson. That's right, ID. Here's Thurman. That's a 344 non-split, and that's going to be a pop-up to first base. So 2 down, and it's up to Reggie Jackson. Another confrontation between Bob Welch and Reggie Jackson. 392. 392 is a strikeout, and Welch struck him out. Boy, 391 would have been a home run. But 392, Welch strikes him out. Very reminiscent of the real-life confrontation they had at Dodger Stadium where Bob Welch struck out Reggie. But now we go to the bottom of the 9th. Last chance. Hello, Kenyon. Good to see you. Last chance for the Dodgers. It'll be Baker, Mundy, and Lacy, unless they want to go to a pinch hitter for Lacy, which they may do. Dodgers do have pinch hitter extraordinaire Vic Davalillo. He's going to pick up a bat and hit for Lacy. So Lacy will not hit. It will be Davalillo. They also have Manny Mota that they could go to. So if they get somebody on base, Bill North would be a good pinch runner for them. So there's different options. But right now they're going with Dusty Baker. Not going to pinch hit for Dusty. 4-3 Yankees, bottom of the 9th. Gossage against Baker. That's a 692, but with Baker to home team batting, it becomes 702. And look at that. 703 would have been a deep drive, but at least 702 is a walk. But it would have been a deep drive otherwise. But he'll take the walk, I guess. And now Baker will come out of the game. And Bill North will pinch run for Baker. Bill North will do the pinch running for Dusty Baker. And Bill North might be looking to run here. So North is your pinch runner. Bill North. Let's see. Gossage hold is a 6. Bill North steal is a 3. So we go right back to here. So the steal of 3 plus the 2 dice have to equal 16 or better. And that's a 15. Couldn't quite get there. So he can't quite get the lead there. So he will hold, but he's got good speed and speed of 5, so he can round those bases if needed. Here's Rick Monday. Monday's a pretty good hitter. It's kind of tough to bunt with Monday, so we're gonna have Monday swing away. And we get a 551. That's not good for the Dodgers. That blue 1 probably means a double play, especially to Greg Nettles. 551 is a 5-4-3 double play. So Rick Monday did what they didn't want him to do, and that's hit into a double play. So 2 outs. And Vic Davalillo will pick up a bat and hit for Lee Lacy. He would stay in the game as the DH if it goes extra innings. Vic Davalillo, but now he needs to get on base to keep it going against Gossage. I forgot to add what now? What did I forget to add? 9 plus 6. I'm not sure what you're talking about, ID. You're talking about the steal, trying to get the lead? I have no idea what 9 plus 6 plus 3. I know that equals 18, but on the steal attempt. Now I added the player steal rating. Pretty sure I did. Did I not add the rating of Bill North? Did I not add his 5? Did I forget to do that? Well, too late now to worry about it. So Tom Lasorda can protest just like when Reggie Jackson put his hip out in the way. So it's too late to worry about it now. That's the human element of umpiring. There was no instant replay in 1978, so any mistakes, that's just the way it is. All right, here's Davalillo, 293, and that's going to be a deep drive for Davalillo. His power is a 3, but you never know. It's a deep drive to right field. His power is a 3. If these two dice total 14 or better, he can get a home run. It's a 7, so he's going to add it to the power of 3 for a total of 10, and that's going to be a fly out to right field to end the ball game. So the deep drive comes up empty, and the Yankees take game 1 by the score of 4-3 over the Dodgers. Tommy John, the loser, Ed Figueroa, the winner, and Goose Gossage gets the save. Gossage goes 1 1/3 innings, a walk and a strikeout, nothing else. Welch will go 3 innings, and he will give up 1 hit, no runs, which means Welch is unavailable in the next in game 2 because he will need rest. He did strike out 2, didn't walk anybody. So final line score, 4 runs, 13 hits, and no errors for the Yankees. And for the Dodgers, 3 runs, 9 hits, and no errors. So you can pick your favorite player of the game. Mickey Rivers had 4 hits, but they weren't really a factor in runs that were scored. Actually, the guy in the middle of all of it was Brett Stanley. But he got pinch hit for here, so not sure who you give the player of the game to. But either way, Yankees win the first game. Yeah, we had a couple deep drives that just came up short by 1 number. So there you go. Game 1 in the books. The Yankees win it 4-3. I know the Yankees won. I believe the Dodgers won the first game of the real World Series. Let me see here. Game 1. Yeah, the Dodgers won the real game 11-5. So game 2, it'll be Bert Hooton and Catfish Hunter. That'll be the pitching matchup from Dodger Stadium. That'll be tomorrow night around 9 o'clock. Game 2 of the 1978 World Series, Bert Hooton against Catfish Hunter. And of course, it will be as played lineups. And with the righty going for the Dodgers, let's see if that changes the Yankee lineup at all. Yeah, actually, Jim Spencer is going to play first base, not Chris Chambliss. That's kind of weird. I'm not sure why you take him out. And Denny Doyle will play second base, not Fred Stanley. So those are the changes. And Mickey Rivers is not going to be in the game. They're going to have Roy White play left and Gary Thomason play center. So that's kind of weird. Really some weird stuff there when a righty is on the mound. Dodgers pretty much keep the same lineup. In fact, they do keep the same lineup. Their lineup will be identical. So game 2 tomorrow night. And it will be, like I said, it will be Bert Happy Hooton against Catfish Hunter. That'll be tomorrow night. Tomorrow morning around 9 o'clock, we will have Texas and Detroit, 1987 American League replay. Texas and Detroit. And tomorrow afternoon, at some point, I'm not sure if I'm going to do it live or I might just record it. Since we're doing this at night, it's taken away from the Demolition League. I'm going to start playing some of the Demolition games during the afternoon while I'm playing this World Series so I can keep that project rolling as well. don't know if I'll do it live or if I'll just, do a recording of it. I'm not sure. We'll figure it out one way or the other. But there you go. Yankees win 4-3. They rewrite the history because, like you said, the Dodgers won the first 2 games of the series. But the Yankees flipped the script and they get a 4-0 lead and barely hold on and beat the Dodgers by the score of 4-3. So I want to thank everybody for spending part of your Tuesday night with me. I thought Clay might be here, but he didn't make it for whatever reason. But that's okay. He can catch the replay or he can chime in tomorrow, whichever the case may be. All right, so that's going to do it from here. Till next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it. And again, final score, Yankees 4, Dodgers 3. We will see you all down the road.